that if John Aloisi can score this goal, Australia will be there.
Are you sure?
Not sure to do from that.
4-2. 4-2. He wins it for us. John.
Here's Aloisi for a place in the World Cup.
For us.
He's Australia have done it! John Aloisi, the Confederation Cup hero, has done it in the biggest game of all.
The World Game. It's been huge in Australia ever since that November evening, and later our 2006 World Cup campaign. I, Danny Ratanapintha, like many others, fell in love with the World Game as Timmy Cahill scored those 2 goals in Kazakhstan against the Japanese in the final seconds of that match.
Aloisi, Cahill, Cahill! Tim Cahill has done it again! What a goal by Tim Cahill!
I felt the pain when Zeljko Kalic let through those 2 goals.
It is through! They certainly can! What a mistake made by the goalkeeper!
I felt the relief when Harry Kewell scored that 2-2 equaliser.
Might drop for Kewell! Harry Kewell has done it!
And of course, I was destroyed when losing the game to Italy, who would eventually go on to win the 2006 FIFA World Cup.
Did Italy go through?
But nevertheless, football became a passion for many young Australians from that point onwards. It became a religion to me, and eventually I'd practice my religion at Amy Park and Etihad Stadium, supporting the mighty Melbourne Victory Football Club. They are the biggest and most successful club in Australia. 2 premierships and 2 championships under Ernie Merrick's mighty Boys in Blue, winning the grand final over cross-border rivals Adelaide United 6-0 in the 2007 grand final and 1-0 in 2009. The Victory have so many reasons to be a proud club, but the question is, what is the one defining reason that makes Melbourne Boys still number 1? Is it the years of dominance that defined us on the field? Is it the exports who end up being major international players in Europe? Is it the calibre of clubs who come to play us in the pre-season? Is it our tendency to come out of nowhere when all seems lost and somehow the boys lift and steal the points from the opposition just when we need them to the most? Or is it Kevin Muscat's tackling? Well, in all honesty, it's all of those things. But most of all, what makes the Melbourne Victory, is in the stands, the passion in the people attending the games. Those in the terraces, the south and the north, is what I believe makes the Melbourne Victory what it is today.
It's a touch off Mark Burks. Well, aren't they just awesome, the Melbourne fans? The best in the country by a long, long way, in terms of numbers and in terms of noise.
Collectively, the active fans of the Victory have built something great in their short history. From the early years at Olympic Park, the Victory fans were always the greatest and loudest. As the years went on, the titles were won. The team moved to Etihad Stadium and got crowds of up to 40 to 50,000, both in the regular season and the final season. The club was a force to be reckoned with. All was going well, and by 2010, Melbourne had been in 3 out of the 5 grand finals and were competing in their 3rd Asian Champions League campaign. Heroes were made out of names such as Archie Thompson, Danny Allsop, Carlos Hernandez, Kevin Muscat, Roddy Vargas, Tommy Pondolyak, and later on, even Robbie Cruz, Marco Rojas, and Mitch Langerak. However, in 2010, we played in the grand final. It seemed so close, especially at home. We had one hand on the trophy and our third Hyundai A-League championship, but it was decided in a penalty shootout, where we didn't prevail, and the title was taken away from us, right in our backyard. Sydney FC were the champions of Australia.
Sydney FC are the champions! The Sky Blues denying Melbourne.
The following season saw the inception of the Hyundai A-League's 11th franchise, a team that would share Melbourne's newest stadium, AAMI Park, with the Victory. A new team had arrived in town. That team was the Melbourne Heart. With seemingly no other point of difference besides anti-Victory, the Heart quickly became an instant rival. The club had a very average debut season, finishing 8th on the table, and had an average home attendance of around 8,000 people. The Victory, on the other hand, well, we were having somewhat of an average season as well, given our high standards set in our short history. Now, within our short history, the club's most loyal supporters, mostly within the North Terrace, have been bastardised by mass media and have been forced to protest time and time again over the years. And in 2011, major TV networks and radio stations were adamant that Melbourne Victory fans were the most violent of any code, despite the fact there are more frequent evictions and acts of violence at AFL, rugby and cricket games, and even at times, the violence can be glorified. This is Jeff Lord on Australian radio in early 2011.
On the line, the chair and co-owner of Melbourne Victory, who's been defending the club, of course. Jeff Lord, good morning. Well, we've got here a very senior and respected policeman saying that soccer fans are the most vile of any sports code, and he wants crisis talks about it.
But when a statement like that is made, you'd be aware that 105 people were ejected from the 2020 match the other night at the cricket.
The targeting of the North Terrace and dramatisation of small isolated incidents is what I can only pass off as propaganda driven by media organisations determined to swing opinions strongly against actors, supporters and thus football in this country. It was certainly a distraction the Melbourne Victory didn't need during the 2010-11 season. Although young Robbie Cruz was able to have a standout season and was eventually picked up by Fortuna Düsseldorf in the second Bundesliga, where he began a terrific career in Germany, eventually transferring to giants Bayern Leverkusen. Despite this, our season wasn't much better. We finished 5th and eventually played Clive Palmer's mighty Gold Coast United and lost in what was a very disappointing way to finish a season, and Ernie Merrick's Asian Champions League campaign wasn't much better. The board of directors, who had mostly just been recently appointed, and more specifically Anthony Di Pietro, who had been a director since inception, became new CEO and stamped his authority instantly by sacking Ernie Merrick after the 2010-11 season, as they were disappointed in the season gone by and the 5-1 loss to Gamba Osaka, thus ending his 6-year tenure at the club, making him the final foundation coach to be sacked. From that point onwards, swift changes were made at the club, whilst the league as a whole was moving forward rapidly. There was no time for the Victory to remain in this mediocrity. Despite reports of a worldwide search for managers, Mehmet Durakovic was appointed manager for the 2011-12 season. Not only that, a certain Socceroos legend had recently come out of contract at Turkish club Galatasaray. And after months of media speculation and rumours and all sorts of things going around, it was confirmed that Melbourne had been hit by Harry Kewell mania.
The A-League is on the verge of one of its biggest coups to date, with Harry Kewell considering a multi-million-dollar deal with the Melbourne Victory.
Harry Kewell's much-anticipated return to Australia is set to be announced today.
I can confirm our announcement that an unconditional agreement has been reached with Harry Kewell.
Kewell arriving at Melbourne Airport, the 32-year-old Socceroo veteran is launching the last chapter of his soccer career with Melbourne Victory.
I think it's the right moment for me to come back and give something back to Australian football.
We don't often go outside the sphere of AFL football. We make an exceptional circumstance when an exceptional performer comes in, and that's you. Welcome back to Australia.
Thank you for having me.
It must be a nice way to round out the career.
It is. It's fantastic, and what better place to end it when it's just been voted the most livable city in the world.
With the signing of Kewell, the opening match against Sydney FC was also Brett Emerton's debut, recently transferring from the Blackburn Rovers in the English Premiership. As a result, many were saying this was the biggest A-League game to have ever happened. Brett Emerton eventually had his penalty saved by debutant Ante Kovic, and the match finished 0-0 in front of over 40,000 people. Then for the next home fixture, another 40,000 rocked up for the derby. Which saw another 0-0 result. With bandwagoners unentertained, the next home fixture only saw 24,000 people attend. However, it was one of our most captivating draws in our history, and I swear to God, as Harry and Archie celebrated this goal, Harry looked me dead in the eye as he celebrated this. But the hype eventually went down. Mistakes were being made both on the football pitch and in the boardroom. Brazilian defender Fabio signed a new contract extension just to have it terminated soon afterwards. The same would happen to Mehmet Durakovic, which costed the club hundreds of thousands of dollars. In efforts to turn things around, the board appointed former Ipswich and QPR gaffer Jim Magilton.
The opportunity arose and I snapped it up, to be honest with you. So with the playing ability within the squad, they're probably underachieved. I think if you ask any of the individuals, any of the players, they'll tell you they probably could have done better.
For a short period of time, there were times of hope. Hernandez, Kewell, Rojas and Thompson. How could this squad go wrong? Every step of the way, regardless of performance, regardless of mistakes made by directors, the club's most loyal supporters, the North Terrace, were there. Attendances got as low as 14,000, which was truly not good enough for the standard Melbourne had set. But looking across the league at this point in time, we still maintained the best average attendances despite finishing 8th that season, which is really reflective of the size and passion of our club. So, after that season, the board went back to the drawing board, and one of Anthony Di Pietro's best decisions he'd ever make was about to happen. Ange Postecoglou.
I'm Ange Postecoglou, coach of the Melbourne Victory currently. I don't know when they're going to play. Who knows when they're going to play?
Well, you're waiting for the fingerprints of Ange Postecoglou to start showing on this Melbourne Victory Football Club. Well, this is the evidence. Down 2-0. A substitute on, Andrew Naboot to score 2 to resuscitate Melbourne Victory's hopes here at Allianz. More than resuscitate, they're flying the victory.
Quite frankly, it's our responsibility to get the best person that we think is available.
When the board of the Melbourne Victory rang Strawn and they said, we've got a new coach, Ange is going to be coaching the Victory, I thought, she sounds hot.
I knew it was a passionate club. It was a club with a profile. It was followed on and off the field keenly by everybody.
You can only be happy for him and for the club. Enormous pressure going on them.
To play the style of football we want and the cultural aspect of it the way I want, I couldn't forsake competitiveness for just having some ideological philosophy that I wanted to ram home.
Angie, I still love you.
It's made it exciting. I think every club wants to make their ground a fortress. Ours is becoming an amusement park, mate.
Well, I'm blessed. I'm very lucky. I come into work every day with a smile on my face, doing what I love, and apart from talking to you guys, my day's a dream.
I love being in that environment, and certainly from the day I've joined the club, I felt like this is the place for me to be.